Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Such and Such. We are here with the Hair Doula today. For you black people out there, she tells you how to take care of your hair naturally, what's good, what's bad for you. A lot of the products that you see aren't good. And she's also a model, so she add a unique perspective. Love you all.
Welcome back to another episode of Important Miscellaneous Talks. I'm your host, Glassfield Crossfield, and we are changing the world one podcast at a time. Our wonderful guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Dasha. I'm also known as the Hair Doula.
Can you explain what a hair doula is?
Yes. So a doula is a helper, essentially. A lot of people are more familiar with birth doulas. They help with the process of bringing a baby into the world, the before, the during, the after. There are doulas who do all kinds of different things. But for me, what a hair doula is someone who helps with the process of going natural and learning to love your natural hair and yourself in your entirety. And that whole process that goes along with it.
What sparked your interest in hair?
Uh when I was a first year in college, I took a class called Defining Blackness, and it made me question a lot of things, including why I did certain things and why I performed certain things, why I went through the world in certain ways. And one of the things that I started questioning is why I wore my hair straight and relaxed. I was like, do I wear my hair straight and relaxed because that's how I really like it? Or do I wear my hair straight and relaxed because that's how I feel like I'm supposed to wear it? And that's how I feel like I'm going to be accepted. And I realized that if I was to fully love and accept myself in my entirety, then I was going to have to love and accept my hair as well. And I didn't even know what my hair looked like at the time. I had never seen my natural hair that I remembered. It had been relaxed since I was a kid. And so that's kind of what sparked my interest in natural hair. I cut all my hair off and I started growing it. And since I didn't know how to do it, I had to learn how to take care of it myself.
Something that I hear that's common amongst uh, Black women, and I hope I'm not offending anyone, is difficulty with managing hair, especially while growing up as a youth, trying different styles and trying to see what works. And like growing up, we're so quick to say, well, you have good hair or you have bad hair, when I think in actuality it's just how you manage the hair, and that's something that I've learned as I grew. Because like growing up, it's so quick to call someone's hair nappy or you got slave hair or whatever it may be. But I think it's just really big on how you manage that. So why does that seem to be difficult, like in our community, like managing our hair?
Because no one taught us. We spent so much time straightening our hair and relaxing it and trying to make it fit into what everybody else thought it was supposed to look like, that no one taught us how to do our hair. And for a long time, stylists didn't know how to do our hair. A lot of stylists still don't know how to do our hair. And so we wore it straight because that's the way that we knew how to, that was easier to manage. And that's what stylists knew how to deal with. So going natural and managing natural hair, it is more difficult. There is a lot more that goes into managing naturally curly hair. And a lot of people don't understand that naturally curly hair is actually more fragile than straight hair. Every kink and every curl is a weak spot in our hair. So our hair is actually a lot more fragile than straight hair. And so people are treating our hair like it's a Brillo pad, and it's not. It's very delicate. It needs to be treated like fine silk. So I think it's just been generations and generations of not knowing how to do our hair, not being taught how to do our hair. After I learned how to do my hair, I taught my mom how to do her natural hair. Like my mom didn't know how to do natural hair either. It's just
Wow.
not something we grew up knowing how to do.
So like your hair right now, like it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
that's dope.
And getting back to your point about treating the hair delicately, I think the black community is well known for treating their children's hair very roughly, and if you move, you get it even rougher. So definitely
Yeah.
that message needs to go out of treating their hair delicately. Like that hurts, and I don't know why they want to inflict pain.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those things that was passed down. It is the culture. I'm tenderheaded. So another reason that I learned how to do my hair is because I don't like other people doing my hair because it hurts. Even stylist, like it hurts.
I feel like everybody's tenderheaded when you're trying to literally rake through their hair. No one,
You're not wrong.
that is strong enough for that.
You're not wrong. Yeah, there are definitely ways to go about it where you're not ripping someone's hair out. But again, everybody they don't understand that. And you're always going to be more gentle with yourself than somebody else is with you.
That's true.
So what about products? How well does that help into managing your hair, especially products specifically for our people? Because when you go to a Walmart or a beauty supply store, it's like a small section, for people of color, hair products.
So the sad truth is that most of those products are trash. The hair industry creates products that they know women will buy. They're not making products that we actually need, because the products that we need, they're not the products that women actually think they need. So an example of that would be a lot of Black women want their hair to be more soft and shiny, even though that's not really what our hair does. Hair or any surface is shiny when it is smooth so that the light can reflect off of it easily. But when there is something like carpet that is, it's got all kinds of like bends in it, when there's something that is not a sleek surface, it doesn't shine the same way. It maybe has a luster, but it doesn't shine because that's not what it's meant to do. So our hair is not meant to be shiny like straight hair is meant to be, but a lot of women want that. They want it to be super, super soft and super, super shiny. And so hair companies will sell them something that's going to make their hair super, super soft and super, super shiny, even if that means it's damaging their hair. So most of the products that I recommend are not even in grocery store, because most of those products are not good. Inner is a really good line. And there are some things for like Uncle Funky's Daughter is a pretty good line. Like there are a couple things here and there, but most of the good products that you're going to find, they're going to be online.
So what about the notable ones like Cantu and Shea Butter?
No.
Not Shea Moisture?
No.
Shea Moisture.
I love Shea Moisture, man. It smells so good.
And again, like if you, I look at those products like I look at junk food, right? Like I look at Oreos or something. I love Oreos. I eat Oreos. I think Oreos are delicious. Am I going to eat Oreos all day, every day? No, because I know it's not healthy for me. It's delicious. I like to indulge in them from time to time, but it's not healthy for me. And I feel like it's the same with those kinds of hair products. It's cool if you want to use them from time to time in a pinch, or maybe you like the results that they give, for a certain situation, for an event that you're going to, for whatever. But ultimately, if you are using those products all the time on your hair, it's gonna be detrimental to your hair.
So I saw you mention the fact that we shouldn't be using oils on our natural hair. So what do you suggest that we use to replace it?
I don't think that there's anything necessary to replace it. The only things we really need to do is to wash, like to cleanse our hair with a cleanser, an actual cleanser, to condition our hair with a conditioner, and then to style it with a styler. That's really all that's necessary. Oil's not necessary for your hair. And oil it's not that oil in and of itself is bad. It's that raw butters and oils they're ineffective. There's no need to put raw oils and butters on your hair. And when you're putting raw oils and butters on your hair, especially without properly washing them off, it's essentially making your hair waterproof, and your hair needs hydration. Otherwise it's going to be dry, even if it looks shiny. So When oils and butters are properly formulated into products, though, they're fine. That's how it's supposed to be. A lot of people will say, well, this scientist said that cocoa butter is great for the hair. Yeah, when it is properly formulated into a product, that's what these scientists and these people are doing. They're formulating it into a product so that it is in a structure that will work for your hair or your skin or whatever it is that you're using the product on. So people sometimes take that kind of stuff out of context. So Tyler.
I'm sorry. So tea tree oil or Jamaican castor oil is no good?
I mean, I use tea tree oil on my skin. If you want to use tea tree oil on your scalp, I guess that, that's fine too. Any oil that you do use on your scalp, I would say treat it like any oil that you would use on your face, in your, just a couple of drops and then on your fingertips, and then massage it in if you feel like you have to do something. But otherwise, it's not necessary. And Jamaican castor oil is really heavy, definitely not necessary. And it can clog up your hair follicles and make your hair grow in thinner.
So what do you use to wash your hair with? What do you use to condition your hair with? And what do you use to moisturize your hair with? Because clearly we've all been using the wrong thing. So
to wash my hair, it depends on the week. Most of the time I use a moisturizing shampoo by Uncle Funky's Daughter. When I need a deeper cleanse, I use a shampoo by Kinky Curly called Come Clean. It's in like a clear and a green bottle. And that's like my clarifying shampoo. And for my stylers, it depends on what hairstyle I'm doing. A lot of times I'm doing wash and goes. So I also use, I like Uncle Funky's Daughter's gel. They have a really good botanical gel, humectant gel. And then I do another sealant gel over that. And that's usually Intersense.
This Uncle Funky's Daughter, like, they seem to have some very good stuff.
They do. I like them. They're a great line.
You can find them in stores?
Yep, you can find them usually in a beauty supply store.
Okay.
I haven't necessarily seen them in, sometimes they'll be in Sally's. Some products will be in Walmarts and Targets. They're one of the more easy lines to find.
So is it more of a Southern thing? Because I've never heard of Uncle Funky's, in New York.
No, actually, I have no clue. I am a Southerner. I'm in the South, so I don't know. I thought that they were, all over, but I have no clue. You have to check it out and let me know.
Okay. You mentioned something about cleansing hair. Like I don't even know what that is or how to start. Like, how does one cleanse hair?
You just shampoo it. So a lot of people, when you say wash your hair, they're thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna wash it with a conditioner, but you can't wash your hair with the conditioner. That's not how that works. Shampoo and conditioner, they're formulated differently and they do different things to your hair. And so you need to shampoo your hair with an actual shampoo and then condition it with an actual conditioner.
What's the conditioner you use again?
Say that again?
What's the conditioner you use again?
The conditioner, I think I skipped over that. It's called, it's by, I think they're called AG Naturals.
Got you.
Uncle Funky's don't have conditioner?
They do, but Uncle Funky's conditioner does not go as far as the other one does. And so I usually will just use the AG Naturals because it's a bigger bottle, more bang for my buck.
I was told that shampoo is bad because it dries your hair. Like I always get advice on hair, and it's different from. It seems to always be different, and that's one thing I'm usually told. Oh, don't use shampoo; it'll dry your hair out. Is that true?
Think of it this way: if someone said, "Don't use soap; it'll dry your skin out," what would you say?
I'm still gonna use soap. So.
Exactly. Yeah. You're still going to use soap. If your soap is a drying soap, maybe you'll find a soap that's more moisturizing for your skin, but you're still going to use a soap. You're just going to change the kind of that you're using. You're going to say, oh, I'm using the wrong soap. you're not going to say, oh, I need to stop using soap.
Mm.
I don't understand. I feel like us as Black people, we're so clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. But when it comes to our hair, we want to go a month without washing it and not use shampoo. That doesn't make sense to me. It's basic hygiene to wash your hair.
So that was my next question. How often? Because like, I'm pretty clueless to the hair game. So like, I'll get my advice from women, and one thing I hear is like, oh, the last thing I was told was, oh, you need to wash it once a month, which was kind of strange to me, or once a week, or once every 2 weeks. So like, what is it?
I'd say at least once a week. Once a week, like minimum. Once every 5 days would probably be ideal. One of the purposes of washing your hair is to get the hydration back into your hair strands, and you can only do that once your hair is being properly shampooed and submersed in water. And so your hair loses that hydration anywhere from like 4 to 7 days after you wash it. So after that point, your hair is dry and more susceptible to breakage.
Okay.
How did you get into the modeling industry?
That was an accident. I never was like, I'm gonna go be a model, and this is what I'm gonna. It was an accident. I again, kind of goes back to my self-love journey. When I lived in Birmingham, Alabama, someone told me that there was this pageant that I should do, and it was a natural hair pageant. They told me about their experience, and I thought it was something that would definitely help get me out of my comfort zone, because I'm really shy. And so I was like, okay, this is a chance for me to do something that makes me uncomfortable. It gives me an opportunity to grow. So I did that pageant, and I guess I caught some people's eye, and a photographer, my current photographer, this was like 4 years ago that this happened. But my photographer that I work with now, the main photographer that I work with, he was there. And he actually asked a couple of other women before he asked me if they wanted to do a free photo shoot with him, and they turned him down. And I was like the third person that he asked. And I was like, sure, sounds cool. Another opportunity for me to get out of my comfort zone. And so that was the first time that I was ever in front of a camera, and all I knew how to do was smile. Like, he kept trying to get me to do other facial expressions, but I'm like, I'm not I know on my Instagram page it might look different because now I've been coached and photographers have worked with me, but I'm not like the bad bitch aesthetic. Like, that's not really me. I'm like a really dorky, bubbly, like nerdy girl, and I smile. That's what I do. And so that's all I was doing during that first photo. She was like, she's in the camera. And but those pictures got me more attention. And then people started asking me to be a part of different projects, and people started seeing my hair, and me being more active on social media, me networking with people. A lot of the jobs that I've booked have been just through me networking with people, and them really liking who I am as a person and loving my energy, and them keeping me top of mind when an opportunity comes about. So it was really an accident. It wasn't something that I intended to do. It's just something that I got pulled into because people kept asking me to do stuff.
Do you model full time?
Model and YouTube.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up.
How do you suggest others getting to the modeling industry today?
That's a great question. I would say network with photographers and network with people in the industry that you would want to model for. So a lot of my modeling has to do with natural hair. And so I've networked with photographers who get booked for different things. And when they need someone to do something and they need a model, they call me. Networking with photographers is a big one. And then, of course, you can apply to get into different agencies. Smaller agencies, mother agencies are really good. And I would say just putting yourself out there. being active on social media, like being active with people in real life and just staying connected, like connecting with people and being visible. Because if people don't see you, they're not remembering that you're there and that you exist and that you are providing any type of, service. But if you're in front of people and they're seeing you, then when an opportunity comes, then they're going to think about you first. And that's what you want. You want people to think of you when an opportunity comes about. There's a difference between, just regular friendships and friendships that are beneficial for business and for growth. Like, you want someone to think of you when opportunities come about. That's how you are able to grow the business related things in your life.
I thought he had a question there. So, what are some of the pros and cons of the modeling industry?
Pro is that it can be a lot of fun. My favorite shoots are when there's like hair, makeup, and wardrobe, and I feel like a Bratz doll, like a baby doll or something, and I'm getting to, like, someone else is doing my hair and someone else is doing my makeup and someone picking out the clothes that I'm wearing, and I just have to like show up, and I'm getting paid to get my hair done instead of having to pay to do my hair. That's like my favorite thing when that happens. And I'm getting to like meet other people that are really, really dope, like really cool creatives. I've met a lot of really great friends through modeling too. So that's probably my favorite part. That's a pro of it. Cons, it's hard to predict when you're getting work, especially starting out. I'd say I'm still really a beginner, and I wouldn't say that modeling is my main focus. It's still kind of something that just happens. But yeah, I would say you don't know when you're going to get work. It's like anything. It's you're an entrepreneur when you're a model, and so you are a business and you have to run it like a business. So what you do and how you present yourself as a business is really going to determine the kinds of work that you get and the amount of work that you get.
Got you. How is the dating scene for a model? Do you think that being a model makes it easier or harder?
I mean, I think that would be different for every person. For me, what I find is that because of my appearance, I feel like guys assume that I'm going to be one way. They assume that I'm going to be like stuck up or rude or whatever, like bitchy, especially because I'm shy on top of that, and I can be a little awkward. And so what that leads to, or what I've noticed in my dating life sometimes, is that guys don't actually take the time to get to know me. And I think it's just kind of more like I'm army. And I tell people this all the time, but my looks are the least interesting thing about me. And so when that's the only thing that someone is focused on, it can be a little bit discouraging. But I mean, for me, it also just, reinforces that that's not my person, and that's okay. But I'd say for me, that is the more challenging part, but that's also relatively easy to weed out.
You being a hair guru, what type of hairstyle on a man attracts you?
I can't say that there's any one hairstyle on a man that attracts me. I think
Well, look, think about the past men you've dealt with. What typically were their hairstyle?
Past men I've dealt with and past men I've been attracted to, they'll have like shorter fades. They'll have longer hair with twists. They'll have longer, I don't even know how you would describe it, like almost like mini froze situation. I've been locks. I've been interested in guys that have had all kinds of hairstyles, honestly.
Got you. Just yeah. Go ahead.
Could you be with a man that didn't like upkeep with his hair? Like if his hair was like dirty or stinky or.
What? Could you be with a woman if she didn't take a shower? What kind of
I'm just saying.
I mean,
No.
I think you have to go. I think you have to go in depth of how does he just like never wash his hair, or like he's just embellished in his stench?
Right. Like I don't understand. Why is his hair funky?
I mean, because like you being like a hair guru, like you're big on that. That's something you have a lot of knowledge about. So
Her standards
and
different.
hmm?
Her standards different. Like
Exactly. So if somebody comes and they're ignorant to hair and how it works and how you're supposed to maintain it, could you like deal with that, or you would guide them and show them how to?
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, if it's something that they want to learn, I'm not going to go and like force knowledge onto anybody. I'm not going to force anyone to be something if that's not what they want to be. If they come to me and they ask me like, hey, I noticed that you do this thing and you know about hair, can you help me with mine? I'll absolutely help them. I'll help them. I'll tell them what products they need. I'll go with them to pick out the products. I've done that before.
So what about a man with a weave?
I've never come across that, so I don't really know. I don't really know how I would.
hypothetically though.
Well, what's the question about in terms of a man with a weave?
Like a bald-headed man with a weave.
I mean, I probably would just ask him why he had the weave, like what made him feel like he had to have the weave.
Because he,
'Cause huh?
because he's bald.
Yeah, but there's nothing inherently wrong with being bald, though. There's something that he's not comfortable with. He's not comfortable with himself in his baldness. So I think that would be the conversation. It's not really about the weave. It's about what's happening within him that has led him to get the weave. That's what I would be interested in knowing more about.
I feel you.
Describe your ideal man.
Describe my ideal man.
So, yeah.
What were we gonna say?
Height.
Height. Taller than me, preferably.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
Okay, so 5'8". Okay. Money. Income.
I'm less focused on the income and more focused on who it is that he desires to be in life, and if that aligns with who I am and who I desire to be in life.
His purpose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because my goal is going to be to help with that, whatever that is.
Got you. Black?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other characteristics, physical or internal, that you would like to add?
Ideally someone who prioritizes their health, just because I would like to live a long life together. And to be able to like do things, explore. Someone who values family, someone who is going to value me. I think ultimately I really pay attention to character and who the person is, and how that fits. Because just because someone is not in alignment with me, or I feel like someone doesn't fit with me, or our values are not the same, doesn't mean that they're not a great person. So I'm not looking for someone that's a great guy or a great man in general. I'm looking for someone who I feel like I fit their life and their path, and they fit my life and my path, and then we can complement each other and have the impact that we're meant to have on this world together. Because I feel like personally what marriage is about coming together and having a safe space to heal. Everyone has trauma, everyone has baggage. And I think that it's really beautiful when you have, what happens when you have a space where it's safe and you've both created a safe space for each other, is that you get a chance to open up and heal past wounds because you have a safe space to do that. So I think that is an important piece of marriage. It helps you to heal and grow in ways that you really can't do alone, because you have another person that's like kind of forcing you to face yourself and what's jacked up about yourself. And then another really important part I feel like is the purpose that y'all have together in this world, to help others, to move your family forward. I feel like those two things are really important. And so just aligning on that, like, can I help you heal, or am I triggering to what it is that you need to heal? Because if I'm triggering what it is that you need to heal in a way that is unhealthy, then we probably don't need to be together. Or do we both feel like we have a bigger purpose? Do we both feel like, you know, we're meant to help in XYZ way? I feel like those questions are important to kind of ask, answer, understand. Do you want to live in the city and I want to live somewhere that's more slow paced? Like, that's an important question to ask and understand. Like, are we compatible? Do you like to go out partying all the time and I like to stay home and like cook some food and like watch Netflix or read a book at the crib, or like go on a hike or something, you know? Like, if you like going out party all the time and I want to go on hikes, then we're not compatible. So I look at things like that. Like, will we align with each other's lives?
Do you find that the things that you describe that you want in a man, that your friends have similar things that they look for? Probably not. We gotta think this long, because your answers weren't like the stereotypical answers that a lot of women would give. So I was wondering, like, do your female friends say, you know, oh, he has to be 6 feet and have a bag, things of that nature?
Yeah. And to be completely fair, I was one that was like, he got to have a bag. But I did used to only want to date taller dudes. One, that's all I had dated. And two, that's what I felt like I wanted. I think that's what I was conditioned to want. But I had to ask myself why. Like, again, the same kind of thought process that I went through when I decided to go natural. Like, okay, well, why do I wear my hair straight? I started asking myself that when it came to men too. Well, why am I saying that I want a man over 6 foot? Does that matter? Is that really going to affect the quality of the relationship and the marriage that I'm going to have with somebody? Is that really important, or is that shallow? And I don't think it's that important. And I dated a shorter dude. Did it take some getting used to at first when I was dating someone who was like shorter? It did. It took me like a couple weeks for me to like stop thinking about it. Like, I was cool with it. Like, I had like decided to be okay with it, but it took a while for me to actually like let go of the ideal that I had in my head at one time. And I don't know that a lot of people would say that, but it's the truth. I had been conditioned one way and I had to kind of recondition myself.
Are a lot of your friends, your female friends, are they single or in relationships?
I have both. I have a mix of women who are
Closer ones, your closer friends.
I would say my closest friends are married.
Okay.
But I also have some close friends who aren't married.
How old are you as well?
I'm 28.
When would you like to be married, if you don't mind me asking?
Whenever. I don't have like a timeline necessarily. I do want to have kids, so I am aware of that in the back of my mind. And every once in a while, I'm like, okay. But I also want to make sure that I make a healthy decision. So I'm not just going to rush into something.
Are you talking to anyone that has potential to be the man that you're looking for? I'm sorry, that sigh was freaking hilarious. Like, damn, like,
that's hard to say. Potentially, maybe, right? I don't really know. I used to go into conversations, into meetings with people, into whatever, wondering like, oh, could this be my person? Could this be my person? I don't think that's healthy though. So what I do instead is I just allow myself to get to know people. I just allow myself to get to know people. in a platonic way without strings attached. Like if someone, people have maybe kind of shown interest, but I don't think that anyone has like consistently shown interest to where I'm like, oh, that's the person that I'm going to be dating at XYZ point in time or whatever. And I'm not about to like force or rush or whatever. So I just observe. I feel like it's my job to observe and to allow things to go where they go. I don't feel like it needs to be forced. If it feels like it's being forced, then it doesn't need to happen. So I'm not rushing, I'm not forcing, because I feel like that's when you end up in unhealthy situations. And I am desiring a healthy partnership with someone, so that it's not just going to be jumping into anything with anybody.
How many kids would you like to have?
2, 3 max. And I say that because my mom had me and she wanted one more kid and she had twins. So she got 3 kids. So ideally 2.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But if God decides to do me like he did my mom, then, you know, I'm gonna love my 3rd baby.
How are you on faith?
How am I on? Say that again.
Faith. Are you spiritual? Are you religious? Are you are you with a certain group? You know?
If I had to label myself, I would say I'm Christian. I do say that I'm more spiritual than religious.
I knew it. No, how did I know? How did I know? I'm getting really good at this. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, for real.
The reason that I say that is because I feel like if Jesus came back and he went to church, he wouldn't know how to do church. He would know that there's a certain place that certain people in the church are supposed to sit in the front, and that there's, you know, this thing that's supposed to be happening. I don't think that Jesus would know how to do church. So I believe in God. I read the Bible. I believe that the Bible is really, really great foundational book to go by. For all practical purposes, I would say I live my life in a way that is in alignment with Christianity. I just focused more on a close personal relationship with God than the institution of church and like worshiping a pastor.
Okay. Do you don't think Jesus can adjust? Like, I think Jesus is pretty adaptable.
I agree with you that Jesus is adaptable. Does that mean that this is what I'm saying is that church in the way that it is now is not what it has to be. Church is being in communion with other people, with other believers. Church is me and you sitting down and us having a deep conversation that is personal. It's us connecting with God. It doesn't even have to be in an actual building. It's when 2 or more people are joined and they are gathered. That is church. That is a spiritual experience. Jesus was amongst all kinds of people. Sometimes churches are really judgmental. I'm not saying that all churches are like that. I watch church, but I've moved pretty often. So it's hard, especially during the pandemic, to find like a home church. When I lived in Charlotte, I went to Elevation. Like, it's a non-denominational church, but it is a Christian church. I went to Elevation. I watched Pastor Michael Todd. He's one of my favorites. So like, I'm not anti-church. I listen to worship music. I listen to gospel music. I'm not anti-church. I just think that some people focus so much on church and the institution of church that they forget about loving people, and they forget about having a relationship with God because they're so focused on appearances for church.
Yeah. I feel you. You can go to church every Sunday. That doesn't mean you're going to heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not a guarantee just because you go faithfully. You can still go when your heart still not be right. at the end of the day. Or, a lot of people that do go, you go and right after church is over, out here wilding. So I definitely feel you on that. Big fan of Michael Todd, but he lost me when he started spitting on niggas.
That was a little weird. I ain't even go. That was a little. I don't. That was a little weird.
He was too dedicated. He was too dedicated to the skit, man.
Did he talk to that man before he did that? Like, that was a lot.
I really look down on the man a lot who probably has a wife and kids who said okay to doing that. Wow. He had his consent to do that. It's crazy.
Sometimes, and again, that's sometimes the things that they do. I mean, we've heard about a lot of leaders of churches doing weird things, and that was on the low list of weirdness. If we're being honest, that was mild in comparison to what some pastors and preachers are out here doing. So, I have a little grace.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Why say that when you're like, I knew it when I said I'm more spiritual than religious?
I just knew you just give off the spiritual vibe. Definitely, I see like you give me like candles and incense throughout the house type of thing. Just like meditating, yoga, working on your breathing, keeping your chakras aligned. Like the root chakra.
Like you're that's not a good thing to you though.
Oftentimes, that's a whole nother podcast talking about the spiritual stuff.
I'm curious.
It can be good, but oftentimes I think people use it as a crutch of a lackadaisical way of self-improvement.
It's performance, what you're saying.
Yeah, like, and it come off as very condescending, like you just don't understand where I'm coming from because you're not woke or conscious enough. Like you just won't get what I'm saying. Like, bro, come on, bro. You do yoga 30 minutes a day. Like it's not anything extracurricular, man. Relax.
And
How
then,
some of them come off though. How some of them come off. You still seem like a cool person, but I knew you were spiritual.
And then usually the spiritual ones, there's a stigma that comes with them because, I'm a free spirit, and because I'm a free spirit, I'm gonna sleep around the way I like, So it's usually
not you.
Usually whores. Let's be honest,
Yeah, I have noticed that though. A lot of women who say they're spiritual, they have a lot of demons.
Nah, for real, and males. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my body, and I'm one with the body, and my body's meant to be this and that. So they just, basically just prostitution on the low, honestly. But
like they just call themselves spiritual, they just smoke weed. Like, bro, like that's not.
Yeah, I don't even do that. I'm not in my life.
Sorry. Nah. But like once I heard like doula or hair doula, that pretty much gave it away for me. So.
Oh, y'all just knew it was about to be real interesting. Y'all were just about to try and drag me good.
Afrocentricity, Erykah Badu, you know the whole spiel.
People say try to say the Erykah Badu. I don't feel like I relate to Erykah Badu like that.
She's off. I love her to death because I love music, but she's just a weird individual, honestly. Very strange.
Calmly. She's just a individual.
No, OD. I also wanted to get into your background because you said that you're a military brat. So like explain that and coming up and going from either state to state or country to country. And like what to me, being a military brat, there's not really much pros that comes with it. If you're not traveling, there's not really any pros. But like tell us your background about that.
So I didn't do most of my traveling wasn't out of the country. I was born out of the country, but most of my traveling and moving that I did was in the country. North Carolina, a few places, Alabama, a few places, Virginia, Colorado. So I've lived a few places. I think there are pros to being a military kid. I think there's also cons to being a military kid. I'd say pros to being a military kid. I'm good with directions. I can learn a place and how to get around fast, real fast. I can connect with all kinds of different people because I've had to. I can make friends really fast. I feel like I have basic like discipline and respect because my parents didn't play that. I feel like I feel like I'm a decent human being, you know. Cons to being a military, and then exploring different places and being able to see different people and how different people live. And there's some people who have not left like their city their whole life, and that's weird to me. But I didn't realize that. Cons, the biggest con also in a way aligns with the biggest, like one of the biggest pros. So I'm really great at making friends. I realized though a few years ago that I was not great at maintaining friendships because I never had to do that. And if you think about it, like when, I'm not sure how old y'all are, but when I was growing up, I'm assuming y'all are around my age. We were growing up, we didn't have social media to keep up with friends, you know? So it's not like I was able to keep in contact with old friends. When I moved, it was bye to the old friends and let's go make some new ones now. And so I don't think I ever really got to the point in friendships where conflict starts to happen and you work through that conflict and you come out on the other side of that friendship stronger. And so I had to learn that as an adult. That was definitely a con because I was telling myself the story that I didn't have friends when and like I had nothing to do with it. And I had to figure out, well, Dasha, why don't you have friends? Or why do you feel like you don't have friends? Or what are you doing that's contributing to you not having friends or not feeling like you're having friends? And so that was something that I had to work through for sure.
And my last question is, how do you want to be remembered and where do you want to take your career?
I want to be remembered as someone who brought people joy and made people feel loved and accepted and like they could be themselves fully and wholly. I really want to create a space where people feel like they can be the most authentic versions of themselves. So that's what I would want to be remembered for. And then you said, where do I want to take my career? I mean, deeper into doing that kind of work. I want to share more of myself and more of my life and things that I've learned. And I think right now I'm really open to what that looks like and how that happens. I think I've been narrowing it more and more and more. I know it's going to be something that is creative. But whatever it is that I do and whatever it is that ends up looking like, I want to create a space where I help people to become the best, most authentic versions of themselves.
Got you. Well, that is all the questions I have for you today. I thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for your time.